All right, y'all. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey. And today, we're going to go ahead and cover this whole NFL slate set for Sunday. What is this, the 8th? Yeah, December 8th, 2024, guys. All right, man. So, first and foremost, man, good morning, everybody, man. I hope everybody having a good, blessed day. Hope everybody ready to get to this window. You know what I'm saying? And let's go ahead and let's get this thing started. All right, so first game we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about this Kansas City Chiefs visiting or playing against the LA Chargers. All right, so this game is set. Yes, the LA Chargers visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. This game's set to be played Sunday night, December 8th, 2024, 8:20 p.m. East Coast time in Kansas City, Missouri. The line is Kansas City by 4. The over-under is set at 42.5. All right, so let's go ahead. Yeah, stop freezing up on me. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's take a quick look into this matchup, guys, and let's just see how things have been rocking per these two teams. All right, so the Chargers are looking to make a statement in this game, guys, to see whether or not they really for real. You know what I mean? Like, we all anticipate that this team is going to be a playoff team, a playoff viable team, a team that'll be dangerous because it's a Harbaugh coach team, and they have a great quarterback. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they got to make a statement in this game. All right, in the last game against the Atlanta Falcons, the Chargers gave up only 13 points, and they ended up winning by 4 points. They picked off Kirk Cousins 4 times, even though they won. It has to be a bit disappointing that the offense only scored 13 points, man. Justin Herbert completed 16 for 23 passes for 147 yards, and Ladd McConkey is having a strong season. He finished with 9 catches, 117 yards. The Chargers on the season are averaging about 21.7 points per game and giving up 15.7, man. And when we're talking about the team that they're going against, we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs, they haven't looked dominant at all this year. Let's just be honest about that, man. In the last game against the Las Vegas Raiders, it wasn't the prettiest game, but once again, somehow, some way, they managed to pull it out. All right, 19-17. The Raiders were almost into field goal range with a chance to win the game when they fumbled the snap and the Chiefs recovered. Patrick Mahomes went 26 for 46 passes or 306 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions, guys. All right, so understanding these two teams, man, first and foremost, man, let's go ahead and let's take a look at this weather real quick, see what's really going on up there in Kansas City for today. Right now, the forecast for tonight from 8 p.m. is going to be about 54 degrees, 10.3 miles per hour, no precipitation, so they're definitely looking good there. The coldest it's going to get is about 51, so it's colder here in Florida right now. Somehow, it's going to be the night up there in Kansas City. You make that make sense to me, guys. All right. Anyway, so injury report right now for the Chargers, you got McConkey, he's going to be questionable with that knee injury, of course. Wide receiver. Colson, he's going to be questionable with the ankle. Denzel Perryman, the linebacker, is doubtful with that groin, guys. We all know Khalil Mack, he sat out some practices this week, but I expect to see him out there. And Bud Dupree, you know, he's going to be battling that heel injury. When we're talking about for Kansas City, well, McCole Hardman's going to be questionable with the knee. So we'll see whether or not he's actually going to be out there to dress for this game. Actual specifics on him right now, just to give y'all the real deal right now, man. So actual specifics on Hardman, they're actually putting him on IR, so he won't be there for this game, guys. So that to me tells me that it's going to have to be a lot more D-Hop, a lot more Noah Gray going on in this game, guys. All right, so getting a little bit deeper into this, looking at the actual matchup between these two teams, guys. We're talking about a Chargers team, okay, that averages 21.7 points per game. That's the 18th best offense in the NFL, going against the Kansas City Chiefs defense that only gives up 19.6 points per game, guys. That's 8th in the NFL. Now, Yeah, am I gonna? Yep. Okay. Hold on, man. I just had to make sure everything was looking clear, guys. All right. So anyway, they give it up eight. That's the eighth best defense in the NFL over the whole season. All right. Now they only give up 5.3 yards per play. That's 10th best in the NFL. Going against the Chargers offense that only gets 5.3 yards per play. That's 18th in the NFL. As far as third down, Chargers offense on third down for the full season does 37.74% of the time they convert. That's 17th in the NFL. Going against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, they slipped up a little bit as of late, and now they give up 39.46% conversions on third down. That's 18th in the NFL, guys. Both teams are scoring and giving up 2.2 touchdowns per game. So that's the Chargers scoring 2.2 touchdowns per game. That's 23rd in the NFL, and Kansas City giving up 2.2. Now, when we flip the inverse, we look at Kansas City. Kansas City's offense is actually doing a little bit better full season. They're scoring 24.1 points per game somehow, some way. Patrick Mahomes is willing them down the field on that, but they're going against the Chargers defense is actually the number one defense in the NFL, only giving up 15.7 points per game, guys. They only give up 5.2 yards per play. That's ninth best in the NFL. And we're talking about a Kansas City team that actually gets 5.2 yards per play. That's 22nd in the NFL. So big problems there. Thing is, though, Kansas City manages somehow, some way to matriculate that third down conversion. On third down, they convert 51.83% of the time. That is number one in the NFL, guys. Going against the Chargers, who's got the number two defense against third down offenses, only allowing you to convert 33.33% of the time. Now, when we talk about the red zone, the Kansas City Chiefs do score, but they don't score much in that red zone. They actually only convert in the red zone for a touchdown 52% of the time, going against the Chargers team that's the second best defense in the NFL. When you're talking about red zone opportunities, they only allow you to convert 42.86% of the time. They only give up 1.7 touchdowns a game, guys. And we're talking about a Kansas City Chiefs offense that's only scoring 2.6. Yeah, that's 11th in the NFL, man. But at the end of the day, this is where the rubber meets the road. Now, how are the Chargers going to move the ball? Well, Kansas City, they got the second best defense against the run. All right, they only give up 3.7 yards per play on the run. They only give up 87.8 yards a game. That's third best in the NFL. And we're talking about a Chargers team, man, who honestly, they get 4.1 yards per play, all right, per rush. That is 22nd in the NFL, but they get 112.9 yards per rush. They move very methodically and slowly. That's why it looks like they really run the ball a lot, because their games go under and they don't put up a lot of points. But at the end of the day, that's not what's happening. They spend time getting everything set up and getting a good pre-look at the defense before they actually run their snap, man. And when we're talking about a Kansas City offense that hasn't been running the ball for the full season, well, they've been getting better in the last three games. And we'll get into that in a second, man, because that's really what's going to tell you what's been going on. All right. So, matter of fact, let's just go straight to that, guys. When we're talking about these two teams in the last three games, man, we're talking about a Chargers team that's scoring 24.7 points per game and giving up 23.3 points per game, going against the Kansas City Chiefs team that actually only scores 23.3 and gives up exactly 24.7 points per game, guys. But Kansas City's getting 21.3 first downs a game as of late in the last three games. When you're looking at how well they do yards per rush, they're doing 5.2 yards per rush in the last three games, so that has ticked up a lot. Tremendously. They're getting 5.2 yards per play right now. And as far as passing, they get 6.6 yards per pass in the last three games. The thing is, the Chargers have been getting better passing the ball in the last three games. They're getting 6.9 yards per pass and 4.7 yards per rush. But the thing is, when you look down at the defense, so the Chargers defense in the last three games, they're only giving up 4.4 yards per rush, but they're giving up 7 yards a pass. So the opportunity for Kansas City is right there. As far as I'm concerned, in the pass game, it's just whether or not the wide receivers will get open and create enough space, guys. All right. When you're talking about as far as what they do on the road, though, on the road, the Chargers do score 19.7 points per game. They give up 13.2 points per game, and they're going against this Kansas City Chiefs team that win at home. They get 24 points a game, only give up 18.8. Actually, when you look at situationally on the whole season and how these two teams have been going, man, you're talking about a Kansas City Chiefs team who's coming in here 11-1 versus the Chargers team who's 8-4. At home, Kansas City's undefeated on the season, man, and on the road, Chargers are 4-2. Now, as a away underdog, Or matter of fact, let's just look against the spread. So, but against the spread, Kansas City's only 5-7 on the season, guys, and Chargers are 8-4 on the season. So Chargers do cover the numbers, man. All right, and on the road, Chargers are 4-2 against the spread, and as on the road underdog, they're 1-1. Whereas the Kansas City Chiefs, as a home favorite, they're only 2-4 at home against the spread, and as a home favorite, they're 2-4. It's the same thing, guys. And in these division games, man, they're only 1-3 against the spread. Where you're talking about a Chargers team that's actually 2-1. So there's an advantage right there, man. Especially when you're looking against the numbers. This Kansas City Chiefs team has only been just getting by barely winning games at the end of the game, guys. As far as over/under is concerned, man, both of these teams have been playing under games. We're talking about Chargers being 4 to the under, 4 to the over, 8 to the under in the last so far this season. Where Kansas City 6-6. Now on the road, Chargers games are 1 to the over, 5 to the under, whereas at home, Kansas City's 3 to the over, 3 to the under. So it could go either way when you're looking at that. But when you look at it with a fine-tooth comb, and you sit and look at who these teams have been playing. So you're talking about a Chargers team who just got done playing against the Atlanta Falcons, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Cincinnati Bengals, guys. They're 2-1 in those games. All right, they are playing some elite teams. Even though Atlanta ain't the top of the top, man, they are playing some elite teams right now, and they're 2-1 in the last 3 games, where you got 2 overs and 1 under in their last 3 games, guys. And Kansas City, they're 9-1 in their last 10, 4-6 against the spread, and 4 to the over, 6 to the under in their last 10. But their last 3 games are against 2 bums. Okay, 2 bums and 1 real team. Okay, you got the Vegas Raiders, bum. Carolina Panthers, bum. All right, now they did play Buffalo, and that was the last loss they had. They're 2-1 in their last 3, and they're actually, against the spread, they're on a 6-game losing streak, guys, right now. 6-game losing streak against the spread when you're talking about this Kansas City Chiefs team. All right, head to head, these two teams, yeah, Kansas City runs it 8-2. All right, in the last 10 times they played, 5-4-1 goes to the Chargers, though, against the spread. In the last 10 times they played, and it's been 4 overs, 5 unders, and 1 push. Now, as results-wise, straight up, Kansas City's on a 6-game win streak against this team, 3-game cover streak on this team, and it's been 2 unders and 1 push in the last 3 times these two teams have matched up out here on the field, man. So at the end of the day, we all know Kansas City has been running this, but the thing is, the Chargers have been hamstringed by a bum coach. So, like, you got to take those numbers with a grain of salt and understand this is a whole new year, a whole new season. All right, the Chargers, as far as trends are concerned, they've covered the first half spread 12 of their last 20 games, whereas the Kansas City Chiefs, they've hit the first half game total over in 15 of their last 22 games. The Los Angeles Chargers, guys, they have hit the third quarter game total under in 11 of their last 17 games, and the Kansas City Chiefs have hit the second quarter game total over in 13 of their last 19 games, guys. The Chargers also have hit the fourth quarter game total over in 11 of their last 17 games, and the Kansas City Chiefs have hit the third quarter game total under in 12 of their last 19 games. All right, so understanding all that, you got to understand this, man. The Chiefs have won each of their last 12 games at Arrowhead Stadium when playing with a rest advantage. The Chargers also have lost each of their last 9 games as underdogs against AFC opponents. The Chargers have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 5 December games against AFC West opponents, and the favorites have covered the spread 10 of the Chargers' last 12 games, man. The Chargers also have lost the first quarter in 4 of their last 5 December games as against AFC West opponents. Now, the Chargers also have lost the first half in each of their last 6 December games at Arrowhead Stadium. All right, this game is going to be low scoring. The Chargers know how to make the game ugly and kind of muck it up. This team, Kansas City team, they're actually willing to play like that right now because their offense isn't very explosive. All right, the Chargers are only giving up 15.7 points per game, and they're going to step up in a big way in this game, man. I really love the under in this game. That's really the only way I would play it, and if I was going to play with the spread, it would definitely be the Chargers plus the 4, just because of the fact that Kansas City is playing close games right now. Like, that's what they're doing. They are playing close games, and that's just what it is. All right, right now the over-under still at 43, so you guys can get that over at Hard Rock right now, guys. Looking at this next game, let's go ahead and look at this Buck game, guys. Okay, well, Tampa Bay Bucks are being visited by the Las Vegas Raiders today. This game will kick off 1 p.m. East Coast time. Will be played at Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida. The line is currently Tampa Bay by 6.5. Over under is at 47. So there has been some line movement because at one time it was Tampa at 5.5 or 6. So it depends on when you got in there, guys, or what you would be able to do. All right, so let's take a little bit closer look into this matchup, guys. Let me give you some background, right? So the Buccaneers coming into this game with a 6-6 record overall, and they're hoping to make a push in the playoff. Really, real talk, man. We're trying to do something right now. But if we want to do that, these are the games that we got to win. Okay, in the last game against the Carolina Panthers, that game was a lot closer than it needed to be. It took overtime to win that game. But I'm not going to lie, Bryce Young is looking a little bit better, and he is getting better. So let's just be clear about that, guys. All right, because they did do the same thing with Kansas City. They took them to the last second too. But we were able to secure the win, 26-23 with the victory. Baker Mayfield completed 21 of 33 passes for 235 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. While Bucky Irvin, he had quite the game, man. He ran wild out there. He had 25 carries for 152 yards and a touchdown, guys. Now, when you're talking about the Raiders, it's been an awful season for the Raiders. They just keep losing games. The Raiders faced off against the Kansas City Chiefs in the last game, and they were competitive. But once again, they fumbled the snap late and ended up losing the game by 2 points. Aiden O'Connell, he completed 23 for 35 passes for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game, guys. All right, so looking at these two teams and understanding it, man, you got to understand what the weather is here in Tampa. It's kind of cool down here right now, but which shouldn't mean much to Vegas, but it's definitely kind of cool out here right now. So you can definitely expect cooler temperatures than normal down here in Tampa. All right, looking at the injury report for these two teams and understanding what's going on out there, man. Nate Hobbs is still going to be out for the Vegas Raiders. Zamir White, he's still going to be out with that quadricep. Jacoby Myers is questionable with that ankle, and DJ Turner still questionable managing that knee. Don't know if he's going to actually show up out there. They do have Colton Miller. He's going to be questionable, but I expect to see him out there at that tackle. And what's going on down here? Who's going to be quarterback? And we all know it's going to be Aiden O'Connell because Gardner Minshew, he's still out right now with that shoulder injury, guys. And when you flip over here, look at the Bucks. We got Mike Edwards. He's going to be out with the hamstring. Josh Hayes is questionable with the hamstring, and J.J. Russell is questionable with the hamstring. K.J. Britt will still be out with the ankle injury. Anthony Nelson's going to be questionable. We all know he's going to play. Mike Evans, his hamstring got him questionable. We know he'll be out there. I expect to see Tristan Wirfs and Baker Mayfield. Bucky is questionable right now with a back injury. I'm pretty sure he'll be out there as well, man. Tyke Smith, he's questionable with that knee still, but I'm sure he'll be out there. And Jordan Whitehead, he's got the pectoral injury, man. He's questionable, as well as JTS. All right, he's also questionable out there, guys. All right, so looking at these two teams, understanding what's been going on and who we're actually playing, let's take a look at this matchup, guys. All right, so Las Vegas Raiders are coming in here only scoring 18.6 points per game. That's 27th best in the NFL, going against a Tampa Bay Buccaneer team that's only giving up 24.7 points per game. That is the 25th worst defense in the NFL, man. So I expect Vegas to be able to get off and get down the field. Let's just be clear about that, right? Even though we are playing better in the last 3 games. Looking at yards per play, Vegas only gets 4.9 yards per play. That's 28th in the NFL. Going against a Buccaneer defense that gives up 5.7. Bucks defense also is 24th in the NFL and against in third down. They allow you to convert 42.86% of the time. Thing is, they got a chance this week because Vegas only converts 34.62% of the time. That's 26th in the NFL. When Vegas is down to the red zone, they don't check the box. They only score a touchdown 48.39% of the time. That's 28th in the NFL, and they only average 1.8 touchdowns a game. So that's 30th in the NFL, guys. When you're talking about this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, all right, the Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, they do give up 2.8 touchdowns a game. That's 23rd in the NFL. And in the red zone, they allow you to check that box 53.33% of the time. That's 13th worst in the NFL, guys. 13th best, whatever you want to call it. That's middle of the pack to me. That ain't what you want to be. You know what I mean? Now, this offense is a different story, though, because the Buccaneer offense is averaging 27.9 points per game. That's 5th best in the NFL. And they will be able to get off against this Vegas defense that's giving up 27 8.8 points per game, guys. I definitely anticipate them getting off in this game. Right now, just so you know, the team total set at 25.5, guys, or 26.5. I'm definitely loving that. I think the Bucks can get to that over 25.5. I believe they might be able to get over that 27.5, honestly, and that's a plus 110 right there. So depending on how you want to play it, but I like that, guys. I like that. Anyway, back to where I'm at, man. So the Bucks average 5.9 yards per play, fifth best in the NFL, going against the Vegas team that actually only gives up 5.2. So they are eighth best defense in the NFL as far as yards per play is concerned. Thing is, they're middle of a pack total game. They give up 327.7 yards per game, and the Bucks are averaging 375.9 yards per game, man. On third down, the Bucks are converting 47.62% of the time. That's second best in the NFL. Going against a Vegas defense that allows you to convert 41.4% of the time. That's 22nd worst in the NFL, guys. As far as red zone's concerned, in the red zone, the Bucks check that box 66.67% of the time. That's the fourth best in the NFL, guys. As far as scoring touchdowns in the red zone, they get 3.3 touchdowns a game, fifth best in the NFL, going against a Vegas team that honestly they allow you to get in that box because they give you the touchdown. They allow you to take that box 59.57% of the time. That is 21st worst in the NFL, guys, going against a Vegas defense that also gives up 2.9 touchdowns a game. So to me, that's 25th in the NFL. That's horrible. I believe the Bucks will get down the field, score some touchdowns today. How will they do it though? Well, because Vegas's run offense is the worst in the NFL. They get 3.7 yards per rush. That's the worst in the NFL. They're going against a Buck defense that's 24th in the NFL, giving up 4.7 yards per rush. So it is an opportunity there, man. In the last couple of weeks, Vegas did come out there and run a little bit. So I give them their props for what they've been doing. But at the end of the day, on the season, they're the worst rush offense in the NFL. They only get 78 yards a game. 32nd in the NFL, guys. They should have kept Josh Jacobs, okay? And when you're dealing with the Bucks, we get a little bit better as full game goes on. Actually only giving up 117.2 yards per game on the ground. That's 12th best in the NFL. When you talk about running the ball, the Bucks are running 5.1 yards per play. That's fourth best in the NFL, going against a Vegas defense. Like I said, their defense does look a little stout against the run. 4.3 yards per rush they do give up. That's ninth best in the NFL. But we talking all about a Buccaneer offense, man, that runs 137.2 yards a game. And that's eighth best in the NFL. Going against a Vegas defense that gives up 114.8, man. What about passing? Will the Bucks be able to pass the ball? Well, the Bucks on offense, they average 7.4 yards per pass. That's 14th in the NFL. Going against a Vegas defense that actually only gives up 6.9. That's 11th in the NFL. But full game, man. Full game, they stay middle of the pack. They give up 212.9 yards per game, guys. And they get to the quarterback 5.83% of the time, which is 26th in the NFL. So I don't see them really putting too much pressure on the quarterback as far as actually getting to Baker. All right. Now, the Bucs offense does allow you to sack the quarterback 6.42% of the time. So they're also middle of the pack, guys. Now, when you flip it and you look at Vegas, Vegas allows you to sack the quarterback 8.35% of the time. And the Bucks get to the quarterback 6.78% of the time. Both of them are 21st in the NFL, man. So it's definitely opportunity there for the Bucks to get to Aiden O'Connell, get some sacks on the board. When you're looking at stat splits and how these two teams have been playing in the last three, the Bucks are averaging 25.3 points per game, giving up 17.7 points per game, whereas Vegas is only getting 18.3 and they're giving up 27.3, man. So, yeah, I could definitely see, line just moved. Line moved from that 25.5 up to 26.5, man. Yeah. see what I'm talking about? it moves. You know what I mean? And so anyway, at home, okay, the Bucks are scoring 25.7 points, but they're giving up 26.2. Remember, that is playing against teams like the Baltimore Ravens and several other juggernauts so far this season. We're not juggernauts, but good teams. Denver Broncos, way better than what we actually thought when the Bucks got their behind whooped by them earlier this year, guys. So you got to understand some of these points and teams, they came from teams that were real teams. Okay, and on the road, Vegas is giving up 18, scoring 18.4, but they're giving up 27.6, guys. So yeah, definitely big opportunity for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right there. Situationally on the season right now, you're talking about a Tampa Bay team, like I said, at home right now. They're 2-4 straight up, guys. So the Bucs really need to tighten up right now. This is their opportunity. They're going against a Vegas team that's 1-6 on the road. All right, now against the spread, the Bucs are 7-5, and Vegas is 5-7 at home. The Bucs are 3-3 against the spread, and Vegas on the road is 3-4 against the spread. Now, as a home favorite, the Bucs are 1-1 against the spread, whereas Vegas on the road as an away underdog, they're 3-4 against the spread. As far as over/under is concerned, both of these teams have been playing overs. Vegas is 8 to the over, 4 to the under. Same with the Bucs in this current situation. As a home favorite or just at home period, the Bucs are 4 to the over, 2 to the under, whereas Vegas is 4 to the over, 3 to the under in this current situation as a road team. All right, understanding all that, you got to kind of understand what they've been doing in the last few games. So we all know in the last 10 games, Vegas is actually 1-9 straight up, right? They've only won one game in the last 10 games. They're right now on, what is that, an 8-game losing streak, guys? Okay, they have covered in their last 4 games, they covered one time, or last 3 games, they covered one time, which was last game against Kansas City, a team that they are very familiar with. And we all know they've been playing 7 to the over, 3 to the under in their last 10, and they're 4-6 against the spread. They're going against a Tampa Bay team that's not too good either. 4-6 straight up in our last 10 games, 5-5 against the spread, 7 to the over, 3 to the under. We are, however, on a 2-game win streak, but we did not cover that last game against the Carolina Panthers. Had they covered against the Carolina Panthers, they'd be on a 4-game cover streak. All right, they were on a 2-game under streak prior to playing that Carolina Panthers team and going into overtime last week. Now, straight up, these two teams are 2-2 against each other, 2-2 against the spread. It's been all overs every time these two teams meet on the field. It's just if you blindly bet the overs every time the Bucs play the Raiders, then you're coming up right there, right? So as far as trends are concerned between these two teams, the Vegas Raiders have hit the fourth quarter game total over in 12 of their last 17 games, whereas the Tampa Bay Bucs have covered the first quarter in 15 of their last 22 games. Vegas Raiders also have hit the game total over in 13 of their last 20 games, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have scored last in 6 of their last 7 games, man. Tampa Bay Buccaneers also have hit the money line in 13 of their last 22 games, and the Vegas Raiders have hit the first half game total under in 6 of their last 10 away games, guys. All right, so understanding all that, you definitely need to understand this last stuff I'm finna give you right here, man. Dealing with these two teams, this is going to be a high-scoring game. All right, the Bucs offense is elite, and they're averaging 27 points a game. Baker Mayfield's going to have no issue passing the ball all around the field on this Raider defense. I do expect the Raiders offense is also going to be good, though. Okay, the Buccaneers defense is going to have no answer for Brock Bowers, and he's going to put up at least 100 yards here. So I definitely would look towards that player prop. I love the over in this, so I think I love the over the 47. As far as spread is concerned, man, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I would probably tease the Raiders up. You could tease it either way and or move the points either way, and I think it'll be a coverable game. But 6.5 ain't gonna get covered by the Bucs. That's a lot of points. You know what I mean? I do see us going over that 26.5 points. What's the Raiders team total over? Raiders team total over is 18.5. Well, yeah, maybe. But I definitely like the Bucs over that 26.5. And as far as player props are concerned, we did just talk about Brock Bowers moving the ball down the field. 4+ receptions. Let's see where he's at. Brock Bowers is let's look, 6+ receptions. Brock Bowers. Oh wow, they expect Brock Bowers to get that many receptions right now. He's set at 7.5 receptions at a plus 115, guys. All right, so yeah, anything other is like a minus 375. So Brock Bowers, they expect him to be fed like early and often all game long, man, all game long. Now, receiving yards, they got Brock Bowers at over 71.5 yards. I could definitely see that happening with the way our linebackers cover tight ends this year. Just being honest with you. I can see that happening with the way the Buccaneers linebackers cover tight ends this year, guys. All right, but let's go ahead. Let's get into this next game. Let's look. Hold on, man. Let me close some of these windows so I can move a little bit faster and be able to see a little bit better. All right. Here we go. All right, guys. So let's talk about the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. This game's going to be played at 1 p.m. East Coast time, Miami Gardens, Florida. Lines at Miami by 6. Over under is set at 45, guys. All right, so let's take a quick look at these two teams and let's move on through, right? Jets have lost to the Colts and Seahawks and play the Jaguars next. New York Jets have lost 3 straight road games. We all know Aaron Rodgers is a bum. He's not a leader. He's not one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time because he's not a leader. He's very talented, but he is not that dude, guys. All right, please stop saying he is that dude. Look, he got a Super Bowl ring. Yeah, he's put up great stats in the past. Yeah, but when you look at other quarterbacks throughout their whole totality of their career, and you talking about what they do for the game and what they have done, Aaron Rodgers ain't done nothing, man. I don't care what y'all tell me, man. Aaron Rodgers he's not a top 10 quarterback. I'm sorry. Top 10 quarterback all time. No, not. He's not it. So stop saying it, guys. I'm sorry. I digress. Every time I talk about these Jets, that's just how I feel, man. That's just how I feel. I feel like he came over and he poisoned this team. Straight up. He came over and he poisoned this team. This team was headed in a decent direction. They needed a quarterback, yes, but he came over and he poisoned the team. Okay? When we're talking about these two teams, man, okay, I guess we got to look right here, right? So hold on one second. Let me pull that up real quick. All right, so where we at? There it is. Man. All right. Anyway, okay. Last time these teams met was on December 17th, 2023. Miami won 30-0. Okay. All right. Dolphins are sure happy to be back at home right now. Dolphins are 5-7, play host to the Jets. They're battling between these two AFC East franchises. Miami's coming off a 30-17 loss to the Green Bay Packers in the frigid. All right, so take that with a grain of salt. All right, after the game, Dolphins linebacker and leading tackler Jordan Brooks said it was cold as hell out there, and I didn't want to touch nobody. Oh no, I'm kidding. He didn't say that. He said I thought we were soft. Dolphins missed 20 tackles that game, man. Green Bay had an extra 132 yards. Simple as that. Anyway, so I do expect to see a completely different Miami Dolphins team out here. Miami is 2 games behind the idle Denver Broncos for the final AFC wildcard playoff berth. Dolphins likely have to win out, go 5-0 down the stretch, including this Jets game and again in Week 18 to have a realistic shot at the postseason right now, guys. Meanwhile, we all know there's a lot of contention up there in New York. Okay, mathematically they're not eliminated, but in my mind they were eliminated as soon as they signed Aaron Rodgers. Okay, and what has been a disaster. Okay, nothing's gone right. You're firing coaches, you're bringing in people. Okay, they ain't been able to fix nothing. All right, Jets haven't made the playoffs since 2010. Interim coach Jeff Ulbrich is 1-6 since Saleh was fired. Yeah. Rodgers turns 41 this week. All right. He has no mobility. They got shortcomings all over the field. No continuity with anyone else on the field. All right. It's just, it is very, very bad. Very, very bad. Very bleak in New York, guys. Very, very bleak in New York. All right. Looking at these two teams, man, I'm not going to get deep into this. I'm just going to go ahead and give you exactly where I'm at because I don't believe the Jets deserve to be talked about outside of your betting against them. So, or you can bet on them when you want to, but when the opportunity is there. But the opportunity is not there right now. Okay, Jets are only scoring 18 points a game in the last 3 games. They're giving up 28.3 points per game, and this Miami team, they're scoring 28.3 points a game, giving up 21.3. All right, on the road, the Jets ain't scoring but 17.2, and they still giving up 27.5 points. All right, the team total for the Miami Dolphins is not even listed. Okay, what does that tell you? The team total for the Miami Dolphins is not listed on the Hard Rock Bet right now. What does that tell you? Okay, it tells you that this is going to be a shellacking. All right, like this, that I don't think Tua has ever lost to them, man. Matter of fact, let's look at that real quick, okay? Because that's just ridiculous. All right, head to head. Head to head, Dolphins are 8-2 in the last 10 times they played, and they're 8-2 against the spread. It's been 4 overs and 6 unders. Dolphins have won 3 straight, covered 3 straight. Matter of fact, Jets haven't won since 2022, and before that it was 2019. So it seems like every 2 years they get themselves a W somewhere in there. Will this be the one? Hell no. Okay, hell no. All right, the Jets are 2-8 in their last 10, 2-8 against the spread, and it's been 5 overs and 5 unders, man. Okay, situationally, in this situation, you're talking about a New York Jets team that against the spread on the road is 1-4, and they're going against the Dolphins team that, even though they didn't have their quarterback most of the time this season, they're 2-4 against the spread still, man. So, like, Aaron Rodgers played every game. He's only covered 1 game on the road. He's 3-9 on the season. He's played every freaking game. Okay. Miami Dolphins are 5-7, man. They're still alive. All right. Over unders, you got 6 to the over, 5 to the under with 1 push with the Jets. Whereas with Miami, you got 5 to the over and 7 to the under. All right. At home, Miami's 4 to the over, 2 to the under. Whereas on the road, the Jets are 3 to the over, 1 to the under, and 1 push. As an underdog on the road, the Jets have played 1 game in this situation, and it went over. All right. Whereas as a home favorite, the Dolphins are 4 to the over and 2 to the under, guys, in this current situation. All right, now, so understanding all that, man, this is the last thing I want you to know about these two teams. All right, the Jets have lost each of their last 11 games in Florida. Dolphins have won each of their last 9 Sunday games against opponents on a losing streak. The Jets have failed to cover the spread each of their last 7 Sunday games. The Dolphins have covered the spread in 12 of their last 13 Sunday games against teams that held a losing record. And the Dolphins have won the first quarter in each of their last 10 Week 14 home games. Dolphins also have scored the first touchdown in each of their last 5 Sunday games. And the Jets have lost the first half in each of their last 7 Week 14 road games against AFC opponents, guys. Yeah. This has nothing to do with the Dolphins, and it has everything to do with Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Being absolutely incompetent and cannot be the quarterback for this team. Okay. He's not somebody who's a leader. He's not somebody anybody's going to follow. Jets defense hasn't lived up to the hype this season. The offense is a mess. Team overall is undisciplined. They keep firing everybody for no reason. That game against the Colts was embarrassing with the amount of penalties and mental mistakes. Yeah, the Dolphins aren't a team that should be laying a touchdown against anybody. But right here, yeah, they should. All right. Dolphins have history against this team under Mike McDaniel on beating up bad teams, and I expect them to do it again. Dolphins minus the 6. The line has moved towards the Jets. You know, it's moved to minus because it was at 6.5. It's now at 6. You know what I mean? But Dolphins minus the 6, man. Don't play with this. Take the Dolphins minus the 6 and keep it pushing. That's the way you get this handled. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's look at the next one. Right. Next game we got is the Minnesota Vikings hosting the Atlanta Falcons. This game be played 1 p.m. East Coast time. Line has been set at right now Vikings minus 5.5 in some places. Over-unders at 45.5. They're at, let's see, where is it at, man? There it is. Yep, it has moved. It's moved up. So the line moved up to 46 over-under, and Falcons are now plus 6, man. Okay, all eyes are on Kirk Cousins and what he's gonna do and how he's gonna react to this. All right, but let's go ahead. Let's take a look at this team, right? So, like I said, all eyes are on Kirk Cousins for the Falcons for a couple reasons. Not only is he returning to Minnesota in this game, but he might be playing to try to keep his job after the way he struggled in the last couple weeks. Just be honest with you. Be clear about this, man. In the last game against the Los Angeles Chargers, the Falcons only scored 13 points, and a big reason why was because of Cousins' struggles. He threw for 245 yards, but also had 4 interceptions. He's looked a little lost, and they need him to be a whole lot better if they're going to actually compete this week. Even in the struggles, the Falcons still have a 6-6 record and are alive in the NFC South. So it's important they turn this thing around quickly. But you're going against a Vikings defense that be biting, man. And it hasn't been pretty for them either on offense, though. But the Vikings still just keep winning games, nonetheless. All right, that's all that matters. And at this point in the season. So in the last game, the Vikings faced off against the Arizona Cardinals, and they were able to secure a 23-22 victory. Sam Darnold completed 21 of his 31 passes for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. The running game ain't been there in a while. Aaron Jones, he had a couple of fumbles that really hurt him. Justin Jefferson finished with 7 catches for 99 yards. The Vikings on the season are averaging 24.8 points and only giving up 18.3 points a game, guys. Okay? Understanding all that, you got to understand that this team is it's got its share of injuries, okay, and it's had its share of injuries all season, okay. When you're looking at Atlanta, they got a lot of laundry list of people questionable. Burchard still questionable, Hughes still questionable, Hodge. Then when you look at Minnesota, Gilmore's out still, Harrison Phillips is questionable, Van Ginkel is questionable. Who else? Blake Cashman, he's questionable with the knee injury. We all know Ivan Pace, he's questionable with a hamstring injury. Remains to be seen if he's going to be out there this game. If he's not out there, then it will be opportunity for them to be able to run the ball on this Minnesota defense, man, because he's honestly the best linebacker against the run in the NFL if you look rated at his ratings right now. Okay, as far as matchup stats concerned, Atlanta's averaging 21.4 points per game. That's 19th in the NFL, but they're going against a Minnesota defense that only gives up 18.3 points per game. That's 5th best in the NFL. Third down conversions, Atlanta's only converting 35.86% of the time. That's 23rd in the NFL. They're going against the number 10 defense in the NFL when the Minnesota Vikings, talking about only giving up 34.81% conversion rate on 3rd down. Then when we talk about it in the red zone, Atlanta ain't checking the box. They only get in the red zone to score a touchdown 50% of the time. Whereas Minnesota, when you get down there, you got an opportunity to actually, score, because they let you score 56.25% of the time. That's 18th in the NFL. Thing is, though, they only give up 2 touchdowns a game as a team. That's 6th in the NFL. And Atlanta, they only get 2.3 touchdowns a game. That is 16th in the NFL. Definitely not going to be something that's going to help them as a team, right? So then when we look at Minnesota offense is scoring 24.8 points per game. That's 9th best in the NFL. Going against an Atlanta defense that's giving up 24.3 points per game. That is honestly the 22nd worst off defense in the NFL, guys. I don't know what's going on with that defense. They're allowing you to convert 44.74% of the time. That's 29th in the NFL. Going against the Minnesota Vikings offense that only converts 38.69% of the time. That's 14th in the NFL. All right. So they're not really converting on 3rd down, but they will have opportunity in this Atlanta game. And then as far as red zone is concerned, they're not even scoring touchdowns. They score 53.49% of the time to get a touchdown in the red zone, Minnesota. That's 19th in the NFL, going against the 19th worst defense in the NFL, who allows you to score a touchdown 57.89% of the time, giving up 2.4 touchdowns a game. That's 13th in the NFL. I don't know how Minnesota somehow does get 2.7 touchdowns a game outside of explosives. That's how they do this. Justin Jefferson, explosives. Hawkinson, explosives. That's how they do this, guys. Now, as far as how will they move the ball, well, Atlanta averages 4.3 yards per rush on the ground, and they're going against the 3rd best defense in the NFL against the run. 3.7 yards per play is all they give up. 3rd best. Number 1 defense against the run in the NFL is Minnesota Vikings, only giving up 81.3 yards per game, and Atlanta ain't been running it anyway. They only Atlanta only gets 117.8 rushing yards per game, 14th in the NFL. So Atlanta will not be running the ball on this Minnesota team, and Minnesota they won't be running the ball either. They are the 26th worst run offense in the NFL, getting 4.0 yards per play, going against an Atlanta defense that gives up 4.4 on the ground, 121.3 total per game. That's 17th in the NFL. Going against the 17th offense rushing in the NFL, only getting 113. So they will be able to run the ball, but not really. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going to be nothing explosive. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Will Atlanta be able to pass the ball? Maybe. Okay, they got the ninth best passing offense in the NFL as far as yards per play, getting 7.9. They only allow you to get to the quarterback 5.81% of the time. That's eighth best in the NFL on protecting the quarterback. The thing is, Minnesota defense gets to the quarterback 7.78% of the time. That's 11th best in the NFL. And as far as yards per pass, 6.9 yards per pass is all they give up. Minnesota offense, though, they're prolific on through the air. 8.3 yards per pass, fourth best in the NFL. Atlanta's defense only gives up 6.8, so there's opportunity there. Thing is, Atlanta doesn't get to the quarterback. 3.61% of the time they sack the quarterback. That's the worst defense sacking quarterback in the NFL. All right. So the thing is, though, the Minnesota Vikings, they're the 26th worst at protecting their quarterback. They allow you to sack the quarterback 9.3% of the time, guys. So there's definitely opportunity there for them to get to the quarterback, man. Okay, now looking at how these two teams have been matching up and how what's been going on as far as in the last three games, man. And that's that split in the last three games. You're dealing with an Atlanta team that's only averaging 12 points a game, giving up 25 points a game in their last three games. So they suck in the last three games. Minnesota's getting 25.7, giving up 20.7 points per game in the last three games, guys. And at home, Minnesota plays great. They score 26 points a game, give up 18 points a game, and they're going against an Atlanta team that on the road score 22.8 and give up 25, man. All right, so there's definite opportunity in this game for Minnesota. Yeah, but especially with Brian Flores' defense and the way he's out there, he's got everybody flying around. Okay, now looking at these two teams, man, situationally, we're talking about against the spread. We're talking at home, on the road. Atlanta's 3-2 against the spread, whereas at home, Minnesota's 3-2 against the spread. As an away underdog, Atlanta's 1-1 against the spread, and as a home favorite, Minnesota's only 1-2 against the spread, so they don't cover in this situation, guys. Just being honest with you. Now, over-unders has been 4 to the over, 8 to the under this season for both teams, and in this current situation, as an away underdog, it's been 2 unders for Atlanta, and as a home favorite, for Minnesota has been 1 over and 2 unders. All right, so I'm definitely liking that under the 46 right now, guys. Matter of fact, I'm going to lock that in, that under the 46. Looking at these two teams, and you're talking about what they've been doing actually out here on the field. Right now, Atlanta's next 3 games are against Vegas, New York, and Washington. Their last 3 games were against the Chargers, Denver, and New Orleans. They lost all 3, didn't cover in all 3, and all 3 went under. Matter of fact, they're on a 4-game under streak right now when you're talking about Atlanta. And then when you talk about Minnesota and their next 3 games are against Chicago, Seattle, and Green Bay. And right now in their last 3, they're on a 5-game win streak right now, guys, but they're not on a cover streak. As a matter of fact, they haven't covered since November 17th against Tennessee. All right, and that was them giving up 6, and before that they had struggles covering 2. So they're like, to be honest, the number might be good with Atlanta, but I definitely love that under. Okay, definitely love that under, because prior to the game against Chicago, they were on a 3-game under streak, and then of course that game last week against Arizona still went under. Head to head, these two teams, man, played last year. The score was 31-28. Minnesota did end up winning. And they were getting 3.5 in that game, guys. So we all know that there will be points scored, or there's a possibility for points to be scored in this game. It's just I don't think that's going to happen this time, man. I really don't. Okay, so understanding all that, man, I know that the Vikings have won 7 of their last 8 games against NFC opponents on a losing streak. The Falcons have lost each of their last 4 December road games against NFC opponents, and the Falcons have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 4 Sunday games as underdogs. The home team has covered the spread in 6 of the Vikings' last 7 Week 14 games, and the Vikings, they've won the first quarter in 3 of their last 4 games at US Bank Stadium following a win. The home team also has won the first half in 6 of the Vikings' last 7 Week 14 games, guys. So Give me the Vikings here. You know what I mean? As far as a money line thing is concerned, I'm not sure if they're going to cover that 6 points, but I definitely do love the under. If I was going to play with the spread, then I would play the Vikings minus the 6, but I don't think I would go. I don't think I'm going to play that at all, and I would not recommend you playing it either. Play the under in this game, guys. All right? So let's go ahead and let's look at the next game. Next game we're looking at is Pittsburgh Steelers versus the the Cleveland Browns once again, and the Jameis Winstons. All right, so the Steelers are 9-3 this year after they defeated Cincinnati by a score of 41-38 in the last game. Pittsburgh led 27-21 at halftime and never gave up the lead in the second half. Steelers outgained Cincinnati by a total of 500 to 375 yards, won the turnover battle 3-1, and went 4-9 on third down in the game. Russell Wilson threw for 414 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, while Najee Harris, he rushed for 75 yards and 1 score. All right. Prior to the win, the Steelers lost to Cleveland by a score of 24-19, but did win the previous 5 games, guys. All right. Now the Cleveland Browns are 3-9 on the season after they lost to Denver by a score of 41-32 in their last game. Cleveland led 32-31 in the fourth quarter, but they allowed the last 9 points in the game for the loss. The Browns outgained Denver by a total of 552 to 400 yards and lost the turnover battle 3-2. They went 9 out of 19 on third down in the game. Jameis Winston threw for 497 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, while Jerry Jeudy caught 9 passes for 235 yards and a touchdown, guys. All right, so understanding all that, knowing what's going on and who's going to be out here, what's going on in this matchup, and actually how this weather's going to look, okay, which is really where I'm going to start off at, guys, for you guys. So we know this game's going to be played in Pittsburgh. It's going to be about 47 degrees. By noon, by the end of the game, it'll be 49. There's no precipitation. It's going to be about 15-mile-per-hour winds. So it could be windy, but there's no precipitation expected in this game, guys. Injury report is concerned. You got a laundry list. We all know Jedrick Wills is going to be out still, tackle for the Cleveland Browns. Kamara's out with the concussion. Thrash is still questionable, and Elijah Moore is still questionable with that shoulder, but I expect to see him out there. Then when you look over at Pittsburgh, Pickens, he's questionable with that hamstring. I do expect, and Adams, he's going to be out with that knee. Guys, Highsmith, I expect to see him be back for this game, okay? Now, understanding all that, man, you got to also understand what's been going on out here on the field. And right now, Pittsburgh Steelers are only giving up 18.7 points per game. That is the number 6 defense in the NFL. They're going against the Cleveland Browns team that they score 18.2 points per game if you look full season. But at the end of the day, this team ain't what the season's been. You know what I mean? Like when you're looking at this team, it ain't been how it's been with Deshaun Watson now that Jameis Winston's out there, man. Because things have switched up a little bit. They're now scoring 23.3 points per game, but that defense is giving up 31.7, and that's because Jameis Winston's throwing interceptions too. Pick sixes all around the board. Pick for you, and pick for you. All right, now when we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, the last 3 games they scoring 27 points per game, but they giving up 26, man. Now, in those last 3 games, they have been playing against a few dogs as far as defense is concerned, but Cleveland is in there in those last 3 games, man. Last 3 games is against Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Baltimore in those last 3 games, whereas Cleveland's last 3 games were against Denver, Pittsburgh, and New Orleans. So both teams have been playing against some pretty decent teams. That's why these stats look the way they look in the last 3 games, man. Okay? Understanding all that situationally, you got to know how these 2 teams have played against each other. Let's just call it like it is. This is going to be a slobber knocker. We know these 2 teams are going to be out here beating each other's heads in, man. Right now, straight up, against head-to-head, it's been 5-5. It's been 6-4. Pittsburgh has covered against the spread, and it's been 6 of the over, 4 to the under. And the last 10 times these 2 teams have played. Cleveland has won the last 2 times they played and covered the last 2 times they played, to be honest with you. Going back to last year. Before that, Pittsburgh won the two before that. So, like it says, it's been 5-5 in the last 10, and the last 4 it's been split 2-2, guys. As far as over-under is concerned, or who covers, to be honest with you, it is usually goes back and forth, man. Nobody can give anybody more than 3 points in this series. I understand why Pittsburgh's giving up the 6.5. The line has been moving. All right. But at the end of the day, yeah, I have not seen a lot of covering going on in this series. But however, I do expect Pittsburgh to do what they're supposed to do in this one. And I'm going to give you why. All right, because in the trends, when you're looking at these two teams, man, Cleveland Browns have hit the second quarter game total over in 11 of the last 18 games, whereas the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've hit the second half spread in 12 of their last 14 games. Cleveland Browns have also hit the game total over in 13 of their last 21 games, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have scored first in 4 of their last 5 games, guys. All right, so knowing all that, you got to know that the Browns have lost each of their last 16 December road games against AFC North opponents. The Steelers have won each of their last 11 December home games against the Browns, and the home team has covered the spread in each of the last 6 games between the Browns and the Steelers. Browns have failed to cover the spread in 6 of the last 7 games in Pittsburgh. Browns also have lost the first quarter in each of their last 3 road games against AFC North opponents, and the Browns have lost the first half in each of their last 10 games in Pittsburgh, guys. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers roll into this game after getting a huge win against Cincinnati, and I think they got a lot of confidence, man. Don't have a lot of confidence in the deep ball today because of that win. But then again, Jameis is throwing in that win too. So that means that it's going to be opportunities for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I expect them to get at least 1 interception today. Jameis is going to give it up to him, but I also expect Jameis to throw for a lot of yards today too. He just is going to end up doing that somehow, some way, right? However, in this game, I do like Pittsburgh minus the 6. Okay, or minus the 6.5, wherever you're able to get it right now. Yeah, the 6.5. I'm not sure about the over/under in this game. I do think there'll be points scored though, so I would definitely rock with Pittsburgh over their 24.5. You can get that at minus 115 right now on the Hard Rock if you're feeling like that's the way you want to go, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at the next matchup, man. And the next matchup we got on the board is Tennessee Titans playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I ain't going to spend long on this one, man, because I really don't like this game. I think this is 2 slugs. I don't think either one of these teams deserve to even be shown on TV right now, man. It's been a rough road for the Jacksonville Jaguars this season. Their only wins have come against the Colts, Patriots, and they're on a 5-game losing streak right now, man. All right. When you're talking about Tennessee on their side, they only got 3 wins as well this year over the Dolphins, Patriots, and Texans. Tennessee's 2-6 in their last 8 games, though. They fell to the Colts, Bills, Lions, Chargers, Vikings, and Commanders in that last time, man. So knowing that, you already understand that this is a bum bowl. Okay, not going to get too deep into the injury report. Just understand Trevor Lawrence is definitely still out. Okay, as far as what these two teams are doing, Jacksonville's only scoring 19 points a game. That's 25th worst offense in the NFL. Tennessee's giving up 27.7. Yeah, and then when you flip it, Tennessee's only scoring 18.4, and Jacksonville's giving up 28.3. Man, this game sucks. Y'all, this is the worst, two of the worst teams in the NFL, man. Please stay away from this game. Last 3 games, Jacksonville's only scoring 11 points a game, giving up 29. Tennessee scoring 21.3 and giving up 30 points a game, guys. All right, when you look as far as situationally is concerned and what they're doing against the spread, Jacksonville 6-5-1, whereas Tennessee is 2-10 against the spread, man. At home, Tennessee ain't covered a game yet. They're 0-5, man. What's happening, y'all? Nice to see y'all out there, man. So, yeah, they're 0-5 right now, man, against the spread at home. Tennessee ain't covered 1 game. Jacksonville, at least on the road, is 3-2 against the spread, and this is going to be the Mac Jones game. So I expect to see Mac Jones out there doing his thing. But at the end of the day, definitely stay away from this game. If you play anything in this game, try mess with the over, because both of these two teams have been playing to the over. At home, though, I'm not going to lie. Hold on now. Pause. Let's take that back. At home, Tennessee is 1 to the over, 3 to the under with 1 push, whereas on the road, Jacksonville's 3 to the over, 2 to the under, man. But a lot of that comes from teams that have been playing and how those teams have been carrying the games over. You know what I mean? This is a stay away game, guys. I'm telling you right now. Matter of fact, I'm getting away from this game. Next game. Okay, we're going to Philadelphia, and we're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers versus the Philadelphia Eagles, right? This game be played 1 p.m. East Coast time. in Philadelphia. The line was at Philadelphia minus 12.5. Over under was set at 44.5. This line has had movement. Okay, the line has since moved to Eagles minus 14. Good God, it went up. God, I'm glad I got in when I got in. All right, line went to the Eagles minus 14, and the over under set at 45 right now, guys. All right, Carolina Panthers went into their bye week with a 3-7 record, falling to the Saints, Chargers, and Bengals. Bears, Falcons, Commanders, everybody under the sun, right? But in their last matchup last week against the Bucks, they took it to overtime. They were outscored 13-7 in the final quarter, and eventually lost a tough one, 26-23 in overtime. Man, Bryce Young threw for 298 yards and a touchdown. Adam Thielen led wide receivers with 99 yards and a score. Now, on the other end, talking about Philly, on Sunday, this team, man, they're coming in off the bye. 2-2 record. Philly, they righted the ship. The defense has been looking great. Okay, like there's a lot of positive things to talk about when you're talking about this Philadelphia Eagles team and how they've been playing recently. Even though Carolina's been playing good too, man. The Eagles defense is stingy and streaking. In the last 4 out of 5 games, Philadelphia Eagles is really starting to come through, man. All right, they're 8-0 since the bye week. They're holding opponents to an average of 15.3 points. They're giving up 241.3 yards a game total during that span, and they're collecting 30 sacks with 12 takeaways, only giving up 6 touchdown passes, man. Okay, and they're fueled by MVP candidate Saquon Barkley. We all know this, man. I tried to tell y'all Saquon was going to do something with this team when he got over there, and he has. All right, he's wearing opponents' offenses down. Barkley leads the NFL with 1,499 rushing yards after gaining 107 against the Ravens last week. 8th 100-yard game on the season, man. All right, and the Panthers, they're coming to Lincoln Field with a 1-4 road record right now, man. 2-game losing streak. Both of those defeats by 3 points against good teams, okay, when you talk about the Buccaneers and you talk about the Chiefs. But at the end of the day, they lost by a total of 10 points in the last 2 weeks against 2 of the best teams in the NFL as far as momentum-wise is concerned and how they play at the end of the game, man. Second-year quarterback Bryce Young has shown flashes of why he's been the number 1 pick, and he's playing some of the best football since he regained his position, man. I give him that. Right? He hadn't thrown an interception in the last 3 starts, and he has at least 1 touchdown pass in 5 straight games, man. He completed a career high 26 of 46 passes for 298 yards against the Bucks, and with the go-ahead touchdown to Adam Thielen with 30 seconds left of regulation. He also rushed for a touchdown, man. So this young man is really getting it together right now. Okay, and I'm really happy for him because it's about time he get his shit together out there, guys. All right. Anyway, looking at these two teams, man, looking at the matchup, just seeing how these two teams have been playing, we're just going to look at the last 3 games. Okay. Last 3 games, we're talking about Carolina Panthers team that's scoring 23.3 points per game, giving up 24.3 points per game. So they're going against the Philadelphia Eagles defense, though, that's only giving up 19, and their offense is scoring 29 points per game. At home, matter of fact, it stays the same. Philly, they get 23.8 points, give up 19.8. Carolina on the road, they get 16.2, but they give up 31.7 points when they go on the road, guys. All right, on the full season, this Philadelphia defense, honestly, is the 4th best defense in the NFL, only giving up that 18.2, and Carolina's literally the 2nd worst offense in the NFL, man. They get 18.1 points per game, guys. They don't convert on 3rd down. They can only convert 34.23% of the time, and Philly don't allow you to convert. They only allow you to convert 33.3% of the time, man, so there's not going to be no opportunity there at all. Okay, this Philadelphia defense has finally became what everybody thought they would be when all these boys were drafted. Okay, when in the red zone, 4th best in the NFL, only allowed you to check that box 45.95% of the time. And when you're going against a Carolina offense that only scores a touchdown 54.29% of the time that they get in the red zone, man, it's going to be cake for Philly, man. I'm just saying. That's why that line moving the way it's been moving. Okay, I hope you got in early, and if you didn't, definitely move the number back down, okay, or tease this, okay, if you're going to play with it. I honestly would tell you go straight for the gut right now and hit that Eagles team total over 28.5, because that's happening at a minus 125. You could rock with that right now. You might even be able to put it up to the over 30.5 points, man. That you can get a plus 105 right now at the Hard Rock if you want with that, okay, because Philly's averaging 26.7 points, 8th best offense in the NFL, 5.8 yards per play, converting off third down 42.33% of the time. And Carolina is dead last in every single statistical thing possible. They're dead last in third down conversion rate on defense, allowing 46.84%. They're dead last in yards per player, second to last, okay, giving up 5.8. And they're dead last in touchdowns a game. They give up 3.4 touchdowns a game. Is Philly going to be able to run the ball? Yes. Okay, Carolina gives up 4.8 yards per rush. That's 27th in the NFL, and they give up 166.8 yards a game on the ground, man. Saquon is going to go ham in this. Okay, that's because Philly's the third best rushing offense in the NFL, 5.1. All right, and they get 188.9, number one rushing offense in the NFL, guys. Look, Saquon Barkley, anytime touchdown, rock with that. Rock with that. Carolina might give up 1.5, but that's second best in the NFL. I mean, second worst in the NFL when you're talking about touchdowns a game, guys. And we all know Philly's going to get in there 2 times a game. Yeah, that's definitely got to get in there on that, man. And I think I'm going to get in on, I got that 28.5 already. All right, so anyway, looking at it situationally, okay, let's get back a little bit serious, right? So we talk about against the spread. Philly's 8-4 against the spread, going against a Carolina team that's 5-7 against the spread. At home, though, Philly's only 1-3 against the spread. Okay, now but Carolina on the road, they're 1-4 against the spread, guys. So that's why we definitely want to be wary of playing with that large number, man, because Philly don't cover at home, but Carolina they don't cover on the road. You know what I'm saying? As a home favorite, Philly's 1-3 against the spread, and as a away underdog, Carolina's 1-4 against the spread, guys. Like I said, like I'm telling you, that line, don't mess with that. Play with that team total over. Okay, when you're looking at the game total, right? Game total, Carolina's 9 to the over, 3 to the under so far this season, whereas Philly is 5 to the over, 7 to the under so far this season. But at home, it's 1 to the over and 3 to the under, meaning Philly defense tightens up, don't nobody score on them. And Carolina, when they're on the road, they're 4 to the over, 1 to the under. So that means somebody's scoring and checking that box, and it ain't Carolina. All right, it ain't Carolina, guys. So where am I at with this game? What do I like? Well, I got to be honest with you. Okay, I'm probably just going to stay with Philly on this one. Eagles fought through a nice win, tricky one. If you can get this back down to the 12.5, definitely get it back down to the 12.5. But definitely love that team total. Yeah, rock with that team total, guys. Try that. Don't do nothing crazy in this game, but go with the Eagles team total over in this game. That's the simplest thing. Over 28.5. Don't go crazy. All right, keep it simple, stupid, and I'm not calling you stupid, but kiss. Keep it simple, stupid, guys. All right. Next game. All right. We're going to talk about this Seattle Seahawks playing against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the last time these two teams met was on November 24th this season. The score ended up being 16-6. Seattle won. All right. Now, before the season began, most people likely would have considered this Week 14 matchup between Seattle and Arizona to be for the NFC West. Big ramifications. See who's going to win, get last place, and who's fighting for draft position. Well, no, that's not what's happening right now. These two teams are actually playing some decent ball, man. For the second time in 3 weeks, Seahawks and Cardinals will be playing in division for the division lead on the line Sunday when they meet in Glendale, man. And this time, the Seahawks it's the Seahawks who are out front. Now, Seattle's 7-5. They won 3 consecutive games for the second time this season, sandwiched around a 1-5 stretch. All right, to take 1 game lead over Arizona, who's 6-6, and the Rams, who are also 6-6. All right, the Seahawks beat the visiting Arizona Cardinals 16-6 on the 24th, like I spoke to you about. Kobe Bryant returned an interception for 69 yards and a touchdown, while Leonard Big Cat Williams, he had 4 quarterback hits and 2.5 sacks of Kyler Murray, man. All right, he became the first player since '82 with multiple sacks, an interception return for a touchdown, and block kick in a game. He was named Defensive Player of the Week that week, guys. So, knowing the history between what's happened so far this season, man, you got to expect some fireworks, especially after the way it went down last time they met out there on the field, guys. All right, so looking at these two teams, you got to understand what the weather's going to be like in Glendale. It's going to be perfect, okay? Well, now that we know that, what's going on with these two teams as far as matchup is concerned, man? We all know the line is Arizona by 2.5, over unders at 44.5. So there has been a little movement in this. When you're looking at the matchup stats and you're looking at what these two teams have been doing out here, Seattle's got the 15th best offense in the NFL, scoring 22.7 points per game, but they're going against the Arizona Cardinal defense that's 11th best defense in the NFL, giving up 21.6 points per game. As far as on third down, though, Arizona's defense is trash. All right, they allow you to convert 46.21% of the time. That's 31st worst in the NFL, man. Going against a Seattle offense that converts on third down 37.16% of the time. And when they get down to the red zone, the Arizona defense tightens up. They're seventh best in the NFL. They only allow you to score a touchdown 48.78% of the time. That's seventh best in the NFL. And they only give up 2.2 touchdowns a game on defense, guys. That's ninth best in the NFL. Problem is that Seattle, they're the ninth best offense scoring touchdowns in the NFL. They get 2.7 touchdowns a game. And when they get down to the red zone, they have their struggles. They only score 56.67% of the time. So they're middle of the pack when you're talking about that, as far as that's concerned, guys. So when you look over here as far as Arizona's offense is scoring 22.2 points per game, going against the Seattle defense is giving up 22.1. As far as third down is concerned, they got the 10th best third down offense in the NFL. As far as conversion rate, 41.9% of the time they convert. And Seattle, they allow you to convert 38.36% of the time. That is honestly 17th in the NFL. As far as red zone concerned, Arizona, they only score 52.63% of the time. That's 23rd in the NFL. And they allow, and Seattle allows you to score a touchdown 53.49% of the time. That's 14th in the NFL. How they going to move the ball? Seattle's rushing offense they forgot how to do it somehow. They only average 3.9 yards per rush, 88.7 yards per game. That's 29th and 28th respectively, guys. But when they get down in the red zone, they do like to run the ball, and they score 1.2 touchdowns a game. That's sixth best. They're going against the Arizona defense that only gives up 4.3 yards per play, 14th, middle of the pack, okay, and 117.3 yards per game on the ground. So that's once again middle of the pack. Then when we look over here at Arizona on offense, will they be able to run the ball? Well, they're second best in the NFL as far as rushing the ball is concerned, getting 5.1 yards per rush and 141.4 yards per game. That's sixth best in the NFL. So Arizona with Trey Benson and James Conner, they are running that ball, okay? And Seattle's the 25th worst in the NFL as far as giving up against the run. They give up 4.7 yards per rush, 127 yards per game on the ground, 21st respectively, man. What about will Seattle be able to pass the ball? Well, they average 7.5 yards per pass going against the Arizona defense that gives up 7.3 yards per pass. Seattle does allow you to get sacked the quarterback 8.39% of the time, and the thing is, Arizona gets to the quarterback 8.11% of the time. That's ninth best in the NFL, guys. Okay, and then when you flip it, Arizona's offense, they get 7.3 yards per pass on offense, going against the Seattle defense that gives up 6.9 yards per pass. That's 10th best in the NFL. They only allow you to get the quarterback 5.5% of the time. That's sixth best in the NFL. Seattle doesn't get to the quarterback. They only get to the quarterback 6.98% of the time. That's 19th in the NFL, guys. All right. So understanding all that, you got to understand what's going on with the stat splits in these teams in the last three times they played on the field. Last three times these teams have been on the field, Seattle scores 20.7 points per game and only gives up 14.7. Going against the Arizona team that's really falling off a little bit. They're scoring 19.7, but they're giving up 15 points a game. But at home, Arizona does score 24.2 points and gives up 17. Whereas Seattle, they score 26.4 on the road and give up 22.8 points. All right, situationally in these two teams, we both know that they are playing to see who's going to run this division. Right now, Seattle runs at 7-5, and Arizona's 6-6 straight up. At home, though, Arizona's 4-2, and on the road, Seattle's 4-1 straight up. So this is where the rubber meets the road, guys. All right, now, we all know Arizona, okay, as a home favorite so far this season, they're 1-1 against the spread, whereas Seattle, as an away underdog, they're 3-1. So they love this position so far this year, guys. In division games, they're 2-2 against the spread, and Arizona's 2-1 against the spread, guys. As far as over-under is concerned, at home, it's been 2 overs and 4 unders for Arizona, whereas on the road for Seattle, it's been 3 overs and 2 unders. As an away underdog, it's been 2 overs and 2 unders, whereas as a home favorite, it's all been unders for Arizona games, guys. And then when you look in the division, it's been 1 over, 2 unders for Arizona and 1 over and 3 unders for Seattle. So definitely could see a major opportunity for the under in this game, guys. All right. So looking at these two teams, man, and understanding everything that we've already covered, you got to kind of understand this, okay? Which is that the Seattle Seahawks have lost each of their last 5 Week 14 road games against NFC West opponents. The home team has won each of the Cardinals' last 4 games, and the Cardinals have covered the spread in each of their last 4 December games against the Seahawks. The Seahawks have failed to cover the spread in 6 of their last 7 December road games against NFC opponents, and the Cardinals have scored the first touchdown in each of their last 6 games following a loss. The Seahawks also have lost the first half in each of their last 8 games in December, and the Seahawks have lost the first quarter in 7 of their last 8 Week 14 road games against NFC opponents, guys. All right. Knowing all that, of course, you need to know this, right? So those last 3 games were against the Jets, Arizona, and San Francisco for Seattle. Where and those last 3 games, they're 3-0, and they're 3-0 against the spread. They played 2 unders and 1 over. The next 3 games are against Green Bay, Minnesota, and Chicago. Whereas Arizona, their last 3 has been against Minnesota, Seattle, and the New York Jets. Okay, yeah, and they lost 2 of those. Okay, but against the spread they are 2-1. All right, and they played 3 unders in a row. Really, they played 4 games in a row, all unders. All right, head to head, these two teams, they're on a 3-game under streak head to head. Seattle has beat Arizona 6 times in a row. All right, Arizona really has a revenge game. This is a revenge game. All right, Seattle 7-3 straight up. Seattle's 5-4-1 against the spread, and it's been 3 overs and 7 unders in this series, man. When these two teams do match up out there on the field, only place I can look is that under 44.5. I love the under 44.5 for this game, guys. That's where I'm sitting at on these two teams. Okay, now give me 1 second. We'll get on to the next game, guys. And the next game that we will be talking about right now will be the LA Rams and the Buffalo Bills. All right, so this game will be played in LA, Inglewood, California. All right, 4:25 East Coast time. Line is Buffalo -3.5. Over under is set at 50. Okay, but let's go ahead and let's take a quick look into these two teams and figure out how this matchup's going, right? So there we go. Rams are 6-6 this year after they defeated the Saints by a score of 21-14 in the last game. Rams trailed 6-0 at halftime, and they were tied at 14 in the fourth quarter, but they scored the last touchdown in the game for the win. The Rams were outgained by a total of 327 to 322 yards, tied for the turnover battle at 0, and went 4 of 9 on third down in the game. Matthew Stafford threw for 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, while Kyron Williams, he had 104 yards and 1 score in the game, guys. Whereas when we're talking about Buffalo Bills are 10-2 on the season. After they defeated San Francisco by a score of 35-10 in their last game, Buffalo led 21-3 at half, and they pulled away in the second half for the blowout win. Bills outgained San Francisco by a total of 372 to 239 yards, won the turnover battle 3-0, and went 6-12 on third down in the game. Josh Allen threw for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns, while James Cook, he rushed for 107 yards, 1 score on 14 carries, guys. All right, so looking at these two teams, understanding how they match up, got to understand that. There it is. Okay. Buffalo Bills have the second best offense in the NFL. They average 29.6 points per game, whereas the Rams, they have the 25th or 21st worst defense in the NFL, giving up 24.2 points per game, man. Buffalo's getting 5.8 yards a game on the ground. I mean, not on the ground, but yards a play. That's 8th best in the NFL, going up against the Rams defense that's giving up 5.7. Okay. So why is this line the way it is? That's the question. Okay, because let's keep going. Buffalo's got the third best or eighth best third down conversion rate, 42.66% of the time they convert. All right, Rams allow you to convert 39.73. That's 19th worst. All right, red zone. Buffalo converts touchdown, 66.67% of the time, fourth best. Problem is, Rams don't allow you to score that touchdown when you get in the red zone. They only allow you to get a touchdown 46.51% of the time. That's fifth best in the NFL. Problem is, they do give up 2.6 touchdowns a game, 19th best or worst. And then Buffalo, they're the third best. They score 3.6 touchdowns a game, guys. So why is this line at 3.5? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Okay, and none of these numbers are going to tell you why. Okay, but I'm going to tell you why. So the Rams only score 21.2 points per game. That's 20th in the NFL. Buffalo, they give up 18.7, so it looks like they should not be giving up that number, right? Well, we know Buffalo is going to try to pass the ball. Rams, they're the 29th worst passing defense in the NFL. Buffalo's the 11th best passing offense. Okay, well, Buffalo's got the third best passing defense in the NFL going against the 15th worst middle of the pack Rams passing offense. So how are they going to move the ball, man? Once again, let's keep going now. Okay, so we're looking over here at the Rams, go over here on the ground. They only get 4.1 yards per carry. The problem is Buffalo is the 30th worst as far as yards per carry. They give up 4.9 yards per carry. Okay. But Rams really aren't running the ball. They get 100.2 yards a game on the ground. That's 26 in the NFL. Well, Buffalo's gives up 121.9. So then what's going on? Why is this line at Buffalo minus 3.5, man? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Okay, because when you look at the last three games, okay, even though Buffalo's scoring 31.7 points a game and giving up 17, and the Rams are 23 and giving up 24, Buffalo is now clinched. They have now let their hair down. If you're listening to any of the things that the Buffalo Bills are saying, they're happy that they've reached this point and they can play freely now. Well, to me, when you think about you're finna go play against Sean McVay, you ain't gonna play freely. Sean McVay is going to test you. Every single chance he gets, he's going to test you. Okay? So if you think you're going to go out here to LA and in Inglewood and really just run the score up on these people and do what you want to do with these people, that ain't going to happen, man. And that's why that 3.5 is pivotal. Okay? That 3.5 is key. There's a reason why that line is at 3.5, man. This is just like the other week when the Rams were getting the 3.5 on the Thursday night, okay? And we all looked at it and were like, why the Rams getting the 3.5 on Thursday night, yada, yada, yada. Man, Rams went out there and won that game, okay? They went out there and won that game, all right? Now, understanding that, man, I got to leave it at this for this game, okay? So, the Bills have lost each of their last 8 Week 14 games against NFC opponents. The Rams have won 7 of their last 8 home games in December, and the Rams have covered the spread in each of their last 8 home games in December. The underdogs have won the first quarter in each of the Rams' last 4 games, and the Rams have won the first half in each of their last 4 home games in December, guys. 6 of the Bills' last 7 Sunday games played on the West Coast have gone over the total points line, and 5 of the Rams' last 6 December games as home underdogs have gone over the total points line. Also, each of the last 3 Sunday games at SoFi Stadium have gone over that total points line, guys. So, what do I like? I love the over. Okay, remember this line was at Rams +5 as well, and it has moved down to that Rams +3.5. Hence why I'm telling you that Vegas is telling you, the sharps are telling you, everyone's telling you that the Rams is the way to take. Yes, you would think that Buffalo's going to roll this team in this game and they're looking for their 8th win in a row and all of that good stuff. But nah, man, that ain't happening with Sean McVay. Okay, you can't take Sean McVay light, and Vegas understands that. So do the sharps. So does everyone. That's why it went from Rams +5 to Rams +3.5, guys. And I love that over 50. Love the over 50, man. Okay, so let's look at the next game. Next game we're looking at right now is going to be the San Francisco 49ers versus the Chicago Bears and the Revlon man, Caleb Williams, okay, a.k.a. Painted Nails. All right, so let's talk about the Revlon man right now, all right? So Bears, they've had quite a nightmare season so far. All right, this game, by the way, will be played 4:45 East Coast time. The line right now is San Francisco minus 3.5. The over/under set at 48. Guys, I'm sorry I skipped over that part for you. You know what I mean? But when we start talking painted nails, man, Revlon, man, then shit gets crazy. So anyway, back to it, man. So they've had quite a bad start so far this year, right? But they are on a 4-2 run, featuring losses to the Texans and the Colts since their bye. All right. In the Lions game on last Thursday, the Bears came back from 16-0 halftime deficit and scored 13 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. A late breakdown left Chicago with a 23-20 loss, however, and Revlon, man, he threw for 256 yards and 3 scores in that defeat. When you're looking on the other side, you're talking about the 49ers. They went into the bye with 4-4 record, featuring losses to the Vikings, Rams, Cardinals, Chiefs. Since then, it's been a win over the Bucs before losses to the Seahawks, Packers, and the Bills. On Sunday versus the Buffalo Bills, the 49ers played in a snowy, cold conditions and got their behinds kicked. Okay, they gave up points in every quarter. Lost 35-10. Brock Purdy threw for just 94 yards, and Jordan Mason totaled for just 13 carries for 78 yards, man, as the leading rusher. You know what I mean? Like, that was a pathetic showing. All right. And the only reason that the Revlon man stands a chance right now is because this injury report is insane for the San Francisco 49ers. Okay. San Francisco 49ers are so banged up and it's all an accumulation of all the games they played over the last few years, going deep in the playoffs, this and that and the third. But they are literally the most banged up team in the NFL to me. And it seems like they've been like that lately over the last few years. Like, whether you talking about Ayuk's out on that IR, or you talking about Deebo Samuels, he's banged up. Nick Bosa, he's gonna be out. Trent Williams, he's gonna be out. Like, we all know about the Christian McCaffrey being on IR. All right, there's just a lot going on, man. Now there's some stuff going on for the Bears too. DeAndre Swift, he's still questionable with the quadricep. Coleman Shelton, he's still questionable with the knee. You know, DJ Moore, he's questionable with the quadricep. Keenan Allen's always questionable. He lives his life questionable. Okay. Darnell Wright, the offensive lineman, he will be out though. He's still dealing with that knee injury, and there's no definitive timetable for when he will be able to return, guys. In the last 3 times these teams have been actually out on the field, okay, the San Francisco 49ers are only averaging 12.3 points a game. They're giving up 31 points a game, guys. Chicago's giving up scoring 22 and giving up 24.3 in the last 3 times that they've been out on the field. For the season, Caleb Williams and the rest of his compadres out there for the Bears, they're averaging 20.1 points a game. That's 23rd worst offense in the NFL, guys. They're only getting 4.6 yards a play. That's the worst offense in the NFL. Third down, they're the third worst. They only get 33. They only convert 33.53% of the time. But when they get to the red zone, they score touchdowns. If Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears could just live their life in the red zone, they would live so much better, okay? Because in the red zone, they convert a touchdown 66.67% of the time. That's 4th best in the NFL, man. They get 2.3 touchdowns a game. That's middle of the pack, but just look at the potential with the fact that they do score touchdowns when they get down there. And when you're talking about San Francisco defense, that's the 2nd worst in the NFL, giving up 70.73% of the time they let you score a touchdown if you get down there. All right, that's 31st worst in the NFL. They might give up 5.2 yards per play, which is 7th best, but that's trickery, guys. That's something that you can't believe, because they're giving up 24.6 points a game. That's 24th worst in the NFL when you're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. And then when you're talking about the inverse, San Francisco on offense, they only averaged 22.5 points a game this year. That's 16th, middle of the pack. And Chicago Bears defense is actually pretty good. They only give up 20 points a game. That's 9th best in the NFL, man. Now, as far as yards per play, they give up 5.7, and San Francisco does get 6.3. So that's the 3rd best offense versus the 27th best defense. But when you get to that 3rd down, Chicago, man, they cut the throat. That's it. Okay, that defense is going to shut the door on you, because they only allow you to convert on 3rd down 34.21% of the time. That's 5th best in the NFL. San Francisco does convert on 3rd down. They are the seventh best, 43.17% of the time. But at the end of the day, man, when you're missing Trent Williams and you're missing all these key cogs for the San Francisco 49ers, man, this is going to be a problem. I really see a problem for the San Francisco 49ers, and it's sad. It is sad because you really you wouldn't think this, man. You wouldn't think this, but there's a reason that this line's only at 3, and there's a reason that the Bears are the ones getting it, okay? And it's because of the fact that Revlon Man only averages 6.3 yards a play through the air. That's 27th worst in the NFL. He gets sacked 10.63% of the time. That's the worst in the NFL, man. He gets sacked the most in the NFL. Worst protected quarterback, whether it's him holding the ball or running around crazy and not knowing what to do. He gets sacked 10% of the time. So that means 1 out of every 10 dropbacks, he's sacked. He's only averaging 190.1 yards a game through the air. That's 27th worst. And San Francisco has plenty of opportunity there because they're the 4th best defense against the pass in the NFL. And if you look per play, it's 6th best. Okay? They also get to the quarterback, man, whether Bosa's out there or not. Now, when you're talking about San Francisco offense, they get 8.2 yards per play. Chicago gives it up per play, 7.6 through the air. All right, so there's definite opportunity there as well, guys. All right, so situationally, you're looking at these two teams. You're talking about 4-8 team versus a 5-7 team. So yeah, that makes sense why the line would be 3. But at home, some reason San Francisco can't win a game right now. They're 3-3 at home this year. But Chicago, they can't win a game on the road. They ain't won one on the road yet. They're 0-5. Okay, against the spread on the road, they're 1-3-1. Okay, whereas at home, San Francisco is at least still remains 3-3. Okay, as on a road underdog, the Chicago Bears are still 1-3-1. Still yet to win a game and only cover one time, guys. Whereas as a home favorite, San Francisco stays 3-3. Okay. As far as over-under is concerned, Chicago's played 4 overs and 8 unders so far this season, whereas San Francisco, they play 6 overs and 6 unders, okay? At home, it's same thing, 3 overs, 3 unders, and on the road, Chicago plays nothing but unders. That's it. All games go under when you're talking about Chicago on the road, man. So, where does that leave me? How do I feel about this game? I'm not going to lie to you, man. I think that there's an opportunity for Revlon Man to finally do something. You know what I mean? I think there's finally an opportunity for Revlon Man to do something. Okay? And I hate to say it. But I would take the Bears with the points. I think they actually have an opportunity in this game due to how banged up the San Francisco 49ers are. Okay? And that's crazy. I think Caleb Williams and the Revlon Man, and a.k.a. Revlon Man, I think he got a chance this week. I think he really has a chance this week, guys. But I definitely like the under 2. Under 43.5 is the direction probably I'm definitely going to end up putting in. All right? So, only game I haven't talked about is this New Orleans Saints and the New York Jets, right? Okay, so looking at these two teams in the last game, right? Last time they met was December 17th last year. Giants lost 24-6. Okay, New Orleans changed head coaches at midseason to try to turn things around. Giants changed quarterbacks in midseason to try to turn things around. Saints are 4-8. Giants are 2-10. Okay, the line on this game right now, okay, as we know it, is New Orleans minus 4.5, over under set at 41. Okay. Looking a little bit deeper into this, the Saints got to try to win this game, each of their last 5 games, in order to finish with a winning record. All right. But I don't think they're going to do that, man. In the big picture, in the major scheme of things, these two teams are playing to see who's going to get a chance at Shedeur. You know what I mean? And I think that at the end of the day, I think the Saints are good, minus the 4.5. I think, yeah, I would take the Saints minus the 4.5 in this game. All right? But hope all this information helps y'all. Hope y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe. And I'm going to see you out the window, man. Peace.